Amitabhy Buddy. Hello everyone, so in this video I feel like talking about transcending the fear of death with Nianfo. So the fear of death is probably the most terrifying fear in the world, especially given this challenging time that we are living on earth. There are just so many deaths that are happening every day due to the COVID pandemic and other causes. So death is also an inevitable suffering that all beings have to face since we were born into this world. It's destined that one day we all have to die. But for a lot of people, they don't know what might happen to them after death. They don't know what's the process of death is like. And that is why when we see a person who is about to die, usually the person will be filled with horror, with sorrow, with a tremendous sadness, and also the great fear of the unknown, because he or she may not know where he or she might end up after death, whether there is anything after death. Due to all this unknown, so this fear will be the greatest. So usually if we see a person after he or she died, the body is very hard because of fear. The Buddha also described in the sutra that the pain of dying is the most painful process that anyone had to face in their life, except for those who are enlightened or who might be prepared for it, who might understand what might happen at the time of death and where they might go. So this includes Nianfo practitioners. For real Nianfo practitioners, there shouldn't be any fear of death. By practicing Nianfo with a sincere mind, with deep faith in Amitabha Buddha and vow to seek rebirth to the Pure Land, it can help us to overcome the fear of death. And what is so good about this practice of Nianfo is that you don't need to realize enlightenment in order to exit the cycle of reincarnation. All Buddhists know that death is not the end. This physical body is not the real self. Consciousness will still remain after death. And in the sutra, the Buddha told us that at the time of death, if we can be mindful of Amitabha Buddha, and even for 10 recitations, we'll see Amitabha Buddha to come and receive us, and our consciousness will be reborn into the Pure Land. So we actually seek rebirth even before our last breath, before our death. So for a lot of Nianfo practitioners, they don't have to experience the usual process of suffering that most people experience at the time of death. And this is definitely true. So the path of Pure Land Buddhism, the practice of Nianfo, have been practiced for over 1,600 years in China, and there have been really countless rebirth cases and evidence to support the existence of Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land. So know that Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land are true. This is really the genuine teaching of the Buddha. And the Buddha is a completely enlightened being who will not lie to us. So for real Nianfo practitioners, one shall really trust the Buddha's words with no doubt. One shall really have deep faith in Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land, and also have deep faith in ourselves that whenever impermanence happens, whatever it is, whether maybe we've been contracted by COVID or other causes that might take our life in any time. But even this, we shall not be afraid. We just have deep faith in Amitabha Buddha, recite the name of Amitabha Buddha repeatedly, and if we still have time here on earth, then our illness will be recovered. If our time here is really up, then have deep faith that Amitabha Buddha will definitely come to receive us and deliver us to the Pure Land. So either way, it is fine. So for Nianfo practitioners, our heart shall be at peace all the time. When we have this kind of deep faith, this kind of unshakable faith, then we are destined to seek rebirth to the Pure Land. Remember 3 criteria that will allow us to seek rebirth: faith, vow, and practice. Whether we can seek rebirth or not entirely depends on our faith and vow. And our level of practice will determine our grade of rebirth. So just make sure that we have unshakable faith in Amitabha Buddha, and with this unshakable faith, it can help us overcome all fears in life, including the fear of death, and one can definitely obtain rebirth to the land of ultimate bliss at the time of near death. If you know family and friends who might be suffering with a lot of pain or under some serious illnesses, or they might have contracted COVID, or they might be really afraid of death, So you should definitely let them know about Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land. Also, we shouldn't worry too much about whether they might believe or not believe. So their karma and Amitabha Buddha's great vows will take care of that. But for real Nianfo practitioners, it's really our duty and responsibility to convey the message, to spread the message of Amitabha Buddha to as many people as possible. So may all beings obtain rebirth to the land of ultimate bliss and to liberate from all sufferings in life. Namo Amituofo Buddha. Namo Amituofo.